week. They swept them. St. Louis beating Minnesota, 4 games to 2. I think Colorado is just going to destroy the Blues in this series. Anna, what are your thoughts?
100%. And that's who I'm going to pull for.
Yeah, I think so too. Carol, any thoughts on the domination that is Colorado?
After they dominated Nashville like they did, because I actually did have them getting upset, I cannot go against them. No, I cannot.
Do you think the rest is going to hurt them and not having as hard of a first round series?
It's possible because they do have a speed game and a timing game, so it's possible they could hold them back, but I don't know. It's possible. That's all I can say. I can't say that's definitely going to be a determining factor, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah. Let's get into the other side. So, Edmonton, LA, that was a really interesting series. I thought LA was storming back and was going to take it from Edmonton, but Edmonton was able to come away in a game 7. And then the same thing in the Dallas Calgary Flames won. I thought Calgary was going to crush Dallas in that series.
Right.
It went 7. And Dallas, I thought, could win that one, but Calgary put up just a crazy number of shots. I took a screenshot of it. Let me just pull it up right here. So this was going into overtime. So both games yesterday went to overtime in a game 7, both the New York Rangers versus Pittsburgh and the Stars Flames. After 3 periods, so after 60 minutes of hockey, the Flames had 108 shot attempts, Carol. 108 shot attempts.
That's insane.
And
Tells you how much they wanted it, right?
52 of them got through, Carol. To 43 shot attempts and 23 getting through for Dallas. So it's impressive for Dallas even to make it to overtime. I mean, what a feat by the goalie. I mean, offensive zone time. They had almost 30 minutes of offensive zone time, which is a lot in hockey. So just an incredible performance by the Flames, and then they ultimately found a way to advance. It's going to be the battle of it's going to be this crazy matchup between the Flames and Edmonton. Just a big time rivalry, so I'm excited about that. Just like it's a battle for Florida, for the Florida Tampa Bay. It's crazy because all these years those teams never played, Florida and Tampa Bay, and now 2 years in a row, after never playing each other before in the playoffs, they're going to get a chance for a rematch against Tampa Bay in that one. So I'll ask Anna and Carol, because now we're talking about the first place series on both sides. Carol, do you think Florida's going to pull it off in Tampa Bay, or Tampa Bay is going to get to the third or to another Eastern Conference final?
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting series. Florida definitely is a better team than they were last year. Tampa Bay had some struggles with Toronto going to 7. I'm going to give Florida the advantage just because Tampa is going for a three-peat. They played a lot of hockey, and that 7-game series against Toronto isn't going to help them going against Florida, especially with Florida having an extra day of rest after finishing the Caps in 6.
Yeah, for sure. All right, now this Edmonton-Calgary series, which we've seen both these teams a couple of times this year, and we thought both were really good. It should be a really entertaining series. It sucks that it's going to be so late at night. I probably won't get to watch a lot of these games. Carol, what is your thoughts on that? And then I'll get Anna's thoughts on both of those other series.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure who to go with in this one. You got 2 young teams, 2 high-flying teams on home ice. Not really defensively sound. Do have questions sometimes with goaltending. They give up some, leaky goals sometimes. But I guess I'm trying to think how I go there. A little bit more experience of Calgary over the young Connor McDavid in Edmonton. Man.
We got a Canadian who just entered chat right as we were talking about it. So when we talk hockey, and they will come. And he thinks go with the goalie, Calgary wins.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to go with Goudreau and Calgary, with them having a little bit more of a veteran presence on that team and a little bit more time together. I'm going to give Calgary the edge just for that reason. But I'm not going to sleep on Edmonton either.
Right. Anna, your thoughts on the East? 1 versus 3 seed Florida, Tampa Bay first. What's your thoughts?
I'm going with Florida. I think they're just going to ride their high and their streak, and they play a physical game as the experienced, and they're a damn good team. And yeah, I think that Tampa Bay is pushing it with the three-peat. So boo with Tampa Bay. Man, Edmonton. God, I'm like so torn, but I think I'm gonna go Johnny Hockey.
Mm-hmm. I'm rooting for Edmonton because I'm a fan of Edmonton. They're the only team that I like still left that I actually like. You know, I'm gonna root. I'm still so torn on that Carolina New York Rangers who to root for. I'm gonna definitely root for Colorado in that series. And I think I'm gonna root for Florida over Tampa Bay just for all the reasons we're talking about. Like I'd like to see a new team get there. I also like my dad has always told me, I know that he's probably still watching on Facebook, always root for the team that beat you because then at least you lost to the best, right? If they ultimately win the cup, then you're like, oh well, we took that team to 6 and they won the cup, right? That's a better story than they just got swept in the next round or something, you know. So that's at least my theory on that. I'm just checking if anybody has any more questions on Facebook. I don't think they do. I think we've now gone and talked hockey for over an hour. And I'm super happy that we got to break it down with you. Were you able to be on the Power Play Point podcast this week?
Yeah, we recorded yesterday. It was our last episode, but you know what, Gil and I left it on just such a fantastic high with opening the show up and people joining and filling in for me and all the craziness that happened this year. So we just had a big shout out to all them, which was great.
Was it just you or did anyone else guest on the show?
It was just the two of us.
Nice.
Yeah. So and we said we would do you know, kind of a summer having like, you know, a couch round whatever he's wants, a round table, just to kind of go over how we're all feeling going into the next season. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to give your command over here. And if anybody is watching on Facebook, if you go to sportsothp.com, click on the Team Sports OTHP. You can click on Anna and get all of her social media links and all that. Also click on the podcast partners button, and you can get the latest episode of Power Play Point podcast. I have had a crazy couple days. I have not checked out the latest one yet, but I'm sure that it's fantastic.
It has. You know what? Gil got so wrapped up in the games last night that I think it's coming out.
Oh, it's out yet. Okay, well, that makes sense, but I didn't see it. I was very busy. I don't know if I would have seen it. But whenever it does come out, I'm sure it'll be great. And I'm sure that it'll be some great roundtables with a lot of people that joined us. Gil just said the show just posted. So there you go. We're just good timing. And thank you, Gil, for joining us. And thank you all, our hockey fans and friends, for joining us on Facebook, or anybody checking us out later on any of the different platforms. Really appreciate you talking hockey with you guys all season. I'm sure we'll have Anna on in the off season, and we'll talk more. And I'm sure that maybe I'll join a Power Play Point podcast, and I know that other guests will too, to talk about the off season. There's so much more to talk about. But I think this is a pretty good recap of the last week of hockey for all that, and we'll definitely give scoring updates and how the playoffs are going in round 2 in future weeks as well. But Anna, thank you so much for joining us and giving us extra time tonight, and we'll definitely talk to you soon.
All right, take care, guys, and okay, Carol's back. For some reason, it froze on my computer, so you are there. Good.
Yeah,
All right, take care. Good luck with the car sales. I'm always pulling for you.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thank you, Anna. All right. Well, Carol, maybe we'll just quickly do baseball, because I do know that you wanted to talk about the scores, and I still have the Wizards, or not Wizards, sorry, the NBA roundtable to break down stuff too. I mean, if you want to break down the games, that's fine. I'm gonna take a break while you do.
Yeah, just do a quick rundown, and because they did take the loss tonight, 8-2 to the Marlins.
Yeah, we haven't done many break-ins because it wasn't looking very good.
Yeah, it was a typical game. The starting pitching didn't come through, and the bullpen, gave up a couple of runs late. Nats got a run late in the game to make it 8-2, but it was 4-1 for most of the game. But I'll go ahead and recap the week that was and look forward to the week ahead, and then that'll give me time. And I even go ahead and throw the Mystics in there to get ready for the NBA roundtable where y'all can cover the playoffs. All right. Currently now the Nats are sitting 12-25. The last 10 they are 2-8. Last week they were 2-4. Starting off this week 0-1. Unfortunately, they just taking a loss to the Marlins 8-2. I'm good. I'm good. All right. As I mentioned, they won 2 games last week out of 6. We were hoping for at least a 3-3 week, and as probably mentioned earlier, this is the third week in a row that they've been. Yeah. What did Robbie turn his camera off on me? Give me a second. There we go. Robbie left me high and dry. He told me to turn his camera off on me. Yeah, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets and lost 2 out of 3 to the Houston Astros with their first trip back to National Park since the Nets beat them in the 2019 World Series. This series against the Mets, who is the top team in the NL East, and ironically, the NL East is the only division that only had one team above 500. So all the other teams are not playing to their potential, including the Nats, who are in fifth place, as I said, at 12 and 25. The first game of the series versus the Mets last week was a 4-2 loss. Carlos Carrasco earned the victory for the Mets that put him at 3-1. He went 6 2/3, gave up 7 hits, 2 runs with 5 strikeouts and no walks. Carl Edwards Jr. took the loss. That dropped him to 0-1. He went 1 inning, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs with 2 strikeouts and a walk. And Edwin Diaz earned his 7th save of the season. He went 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs, 1 strikeout, and no walks. In the bottom of the fourth, Maikel Franco had an RBI double. In the bottom of the bottom of the fifth, Riley Adams hit a solo home run. The second game of the series, this game, the first game definitely had it's a 4-2 loss. Nats had a chance to get closer, but Yadier Hernandez got thrown out of the plate. I believe it was in the bottom of the fourth after Franco had doubled, and he got 1 run in, but unfortunately Hernandez got thrown out of the plate. That would have made it a 3-2 game for the Nats as opposed to a 4-2 final. The Nets got a couple of late runs, and as I said, secured their save with Edwin Diaz. The second game of the series was a win for the Nats. They beat the Mets 8-3. Aaron Sanchez, who took them out of the night and stunk up the place in the early innings of the game, was just the main reason why the Nats all have inconsistent starting pitching. And this game he pitched very well. He earned the victory that put him to 2-2. He went 5 1/3, giving up 6 hits, 3 runs with 1 strikeout and no walks. Tyler McGill took the loss for the Mets. That dropped him to 4-2. He went 1 inning, giving up 8 hits, 8 runs, 1 strikeout and 1 walk. And this was a crazy game because in the first 2 innings of the game, all the runs were scored. The Mets scored 3 runs in the top of the first. The Nats scored 5 in the bottom of the first and scored 3 more in the second. And that was all the scoring for the game. In the first inning, Juan Soto hit a solo home run. In the first, Ruiz had an RBI single. Franco had a sacrifice fly. D. Gordon had an RBI single, all in the bottom of the first. And then in the bottom of the second, Nelson Cruz hit a 3-run home run to account for all the runs for the Nats that game to get the victory, the lone victory of that series, 8-3. And the last game of the series was a 4-1 loss. Taijuan Walker earned the victory for the Mets. That put him at 1-0. His first victory, he went 7 innings, giving up 3 hits, no runs with 1 strikeout and 1 walk. Joan Andone took the loss. That drops him to 1-6. He went 3 2/3, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 strikeouts, and 5 walks. So, yeah, that's been one of his issues all season, giving up walks. When you give up walks, it's never a good thing. And Juan Soto hit a solo home run in the bottom of the ninth to avoid the shutout at home. And something else on TV because the Nets was off after that 8-2 loss. And yeah, as I mentioned, they lost that series to the Mets. They lost 2 out of 3 going into the matchup versus the Astros, who, as Brian Brennan mentioned last week, are one of the hottest teams in the league. They're on a 10-game winning streak. Came in the Nats part, looking to extend that. And the first game, they were able to extend that to 11 games because they defeated the Nats 6-1. Trying to find. Yes, the Nats lost that game 6-1. Framber Valdez earned his second victory of the season for the Astros. That put him at 2-2. He went 7 2/3, giving up 7 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Josiah Gray took the loss. That drops him to 4-3. He went 6 innings, giving up 6 hits, 6 runs, with 5 strikeouts and 2 walks. In the bottom of the seventh, Escobar had a fielder's choice that scored a run to account for the 1 run the Nats put up that game. Second game of the series went a lot better for the Nats. They were able to end the Astros at that point 11-game winning streak. They beat them 13-6. Josh Rogers earned the victory. I put him at 2-2. He went 1 inning, giving no hits, no runs, 1 strikeout and a walk. Christian Javier took the loss. That dropped him to 2-1. He went 3 2/3, giving up 8 hits, 7 runs, 5 strikeouts, and 3 walks. In the first inning, Yadier Hernandez started the scoring out with the RBI single. In the third inning, he added to the total by hitting a 3-run home run. In the fourth inning, Cruz had a bases loaded clearing RBI double, getting 3 RBIs in. Michael Franco in the bottom of the fifth had a 2-run home run. In the bottom of the sixth, Josh Bell scores on a pass ball, and Ruiz walks in a run. In the bottom, still of the sixth, Robles had a 2-run RBI single, accounting for the 13 runs the Nats put up in that Houston Astros winning streak. And the final game of the series, which was played yesterday, was an unfortunate 8-0 shutout to the Astros. Verlander took the mound. That earned the victory for the Astros. That put him at 5-1. He went 5 innings, giving up 2 hits, no runs, with 5 strikeouts and 3 walks. Patrick Corbin is once again winless on the season. That drops him to 0-6. He went 6 innings, giving up 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Like I said, Houston was a team that was very hot. They came in playing some good baseball. Dusty Baker, also the manager, his first time back as a manager since he left. And unfortunately, once again, the starting pitching was the issue. And then when the starting pitching was doing okay, the bullpen, gave up leads this past week. So it's still a growing experience. 2-4 for the third week in a row. Now we're sitting 13 games under 500. It's not a good place to be at. Hopefully this team can get some momentum and start winning some of these series instead of losing 2 out of 3, start winning 2 out of 3. Yes, it is frustrating. Juan Soto in a 2-hole, and I'm still not really feeling that. He got his first home run with actually a man on this past week. All this other with 7 home runs have been solo home runs in the 2-hole. Nelson Cruz, he's had a lot of RBIs, but his batting average is low, so he hasn't been getting on to so-called protect Soto. Josh Bell, he's been hot since the start of the season. So, the potential is there, but you have to have pitching. Then we've had some errors in the fielding with errors, with especially in the middle infield. Escobar last week had 2 horrible throwing errors that kind of opened the floodgates in one of the games when the Nats had the lead or were close to reclaiming the lead. So it's just been a lot of inconsistencies with the team right now. But they have a lot of young players. We know about the players that we don't have anymore. We still haven't seen Strasburg pitch this year. We still haven't seen Joe Ross pitch this year. We mentioned Rado Parra a couple of weeks ago that he's moved to the front office to help with player development. So, there's a lot of things going on. Also heard rumors about the Mariners possibly selling the franchise. So, it's going to be a rough season. Hopefully we can get more 3-3 and 4-2 weeks than these last 3, 2 and 4 weeks that we've had. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the upcoming week. As I mentioned, we had the Marlins for the next two games now, so they took the loss today. They were all 6:40 starts. Tomorrow will be a 6:40 start on Tuesday, and Wednesday will be a 6:40 start. Thursday they have the day off, and then Friday they head to Milwaukee for a three-game set over the weekend. Friday is an 8:10 start. Saturday is a 7:10 start, and Sunday is a 2:10 start. Milwaukee is, playing some good ball too out there in the Central as always. Hopefully we can, like I say, split the week, go 3-3 or possibly 4-2 to try to chip into this under 500 record that we're sitting at right now. It's never good to be under 500, especially 13 games under 500 this late in the season. Well, it's still early, but got to start getting these series wins and try to turn that around. And unfortunately, we haven't seen that from this team lately. We're able to string victories together. We see the potential. We see, one good game, they getting 17 hits and putting up 12 runs, and then next game they had 3 errors and giving up, blowing a four-run lead. The bullpen giving up, or the starting pitcher getting off to a rocky start and giving up 4 runs in the first inning, and they're playing catch-up ball the rest of the way. So it's a little bit frustrating, but it's still early, and never know what next game, next week, next month. Baseball's a long season. We want to see what happens with this team going forward, especially with Juan Soto re-signing is definitely key priority for this team. They cannot afford to let him go. He is basically the foundation, the future of this franchise. So I'm hoping they can get that deal done because, yeah, I can't take losing another superstar from this franchise, especially after losing Trey and Mad Max last year. I couldn't take losing Soto again this year.
I agree. A couple of thoughts, Carol. I was thinking I do want to talk about the schedule for the Commanders, but I'm thinking maybe we do it next week.
Yeah, I was
gone a lot longer.
Going to Mystics and Gray going to the
Yeah. I think that's the play because the schedule's not going to change, and we actually might gain a little more insight spending an extra week thinking about it. So we'll definitely talk about that, as well as all the round 2 matchups for hockey, and of course more of our World Series champions from 2019 talk. But yeah, let's talk about those Mystics. I'm a little bit surprised by this game, Carol, but break it down for the people. It's another 2019 champion team, so that was my segue. But anyway.
Yeah, the Mystics, they were 3-0 as we talked about last week. They took a loss on what was it, Thursday to the Dallas Wings. I had that earlier, but now I can't find it.
Yep, you're right. That is what it was.
Yeah, the Dallas Wings, they lost to the Dallas Wings 94-86. No, hold up. 76, I'm sorry. Hold up, whoa. We got 2 different scores.
It was 94-86.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking at the wrong game. That's what it is. Okay.
They play again on Tuesday, though.
Yeah,
There'll be a chance for a rematch.
Yeah, it was a home and home. Washington currently sits number 1 in the East at 3-1 after taking that loss. I can't even get her name out. Deladon, I'm just going to the last name. I'm having problems. She had 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Atkins had added 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. They pretty much led throughout this game. They put up 29 in the first quarter. Dallas came back and put up 22. It was they put up 19 in the first, so it was a close game at half. Dallas had a stellar third period where they put up 25 points and held the Mystics to 11. But the Mystics put up 31 points in the fourth trying to come back, but unfortunately it came a little short because Dallas put up 28. Mystics took the 8-point loss, 94-86. That third period, third quarter, really changed the momentum of that game with the Mystics being in it. And Dallas came out and put the clamp on them in the third period. They made adjustments and held them to 11. So hopefully we don't have a repeat of that in the upcoming matchup tomorrow at Dallas, because this was a home game. At 8 o'clock.
It's interesting. Dallas had only played one game before that, and the Mystics had played three. But they did play another game at New York on Sunday, which they won 81 to 71. So now they're 2-1, and they sit second place in the Western Conference now. After that, we didn't really know what we had in them really before, because they'd lost their only game before they played Washington. It'd be interesting to see how the Mystics make adjustments and come out and play in that next game. And I think if that's right, is that the only? No, there's a game also.
Yeah, they have two other games.
Yeah, two other games. Yeah,
Yeah, they have a
you
game
have
Friday at the Atlanta Dream. That's a 7:30 start, and then Sunday they go against the Chicago Sky at Capital One Arena at 3 o'clock. So
it's at their arena, not Capital One. But yeah,
I mean, I'm so used to saying Capital One. What's the name of their arena again?
their arena is the sports and entertainment and sports arena.
Yeah, I still haven't made a chance to get down there yet, but
yeah, we need to get down there for sure.
Yeah, definitely got to get down there and check out the Mystics.
I think if Champ's still in chat, I know that he's been moderating tonight. I think was actually there, I believe, for a wrestling this past weekend.
No, that's where it was. I saw you posted the pictures of being at the event. I didn't know where it was at. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to get to that venue yet.
So yeah, Champ said, yep, he was there. So that's exactly right. So that's kind of cool that it's used for things like that as well. If anyone's interested, there's a Pokemon in chat. Carol, do you know anything about Atlanta or Chicago, or any thoughts on playing those teams?
No, it's gonna be. I haven't had a chance to do a lot of WNBA research. I've been, just finishing up with hockey. Now I got to get in the swing for baseball and WNBA, so I have more in-depth coverage of the Mystics next week.
Atlanta sits at 3-1, so they have beaten Dallas, the aforementioned. They also beat Los Angeles, which is the number one team in the West, and they beat Indiana at Indiana on Sunday, 85-79. They have lost to the Aces, which is Vegas's team. So that is that team, and then the other one was, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was on Sunday, right? It was the Sky. And how are the Sky doing? The Sky are 2-1. No, it says 1-1 here. Did they just win this game? But anyway, the Sky are okay too. I mean, it's hard to know. We've only played 3 or 4 games, so there's still that feeling that I'm out early. But it'll be interesting. We'll have a bunch of games to talk about next week. And good night to Carly. Thank you for modding the chat. I appreciate all the mods for joining tonight. But I'm excited to see sort of how they're able to rebound after their first loss and see how they do. And because it's a 2-game road series, and the last game's at home at 3 o'clock. And Champ says that it's a really nice arena, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely can check it out. But I'll go ahead and let you guys get into the NBA roundtable and cover these playoffs. We got in and ran a little late on the cap, so I know y'all want to get ready to rock and roll with that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch up my feed and turn off my camera and let you guys rock and roll with the NBA.
All right, sounds good. I'm also going to switch out my logos and welcome Tim to chat. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Excited to talk about basketball.
Yeah, I'm excited. This has been a really cool playoffs. I think we also have Arun, so I think that he'll be joining us in just a second, maybe. But anyway, until he does, we can. I'm going to do a quick screen share to make sure that that's all working, and then from there we can talk about the different. Yeah, it does. Awesome. So I think Arun's in chat. I see him on the call, but I don't see him. Let's see if he can.
Arun, are you there?
Arun, the voice of Arun. Anyway, I'm sure he'll come in the chat. I'll let him know in the group chat that we're on. But anyway, so Tim, what are your overall thoughts of this? How these playoffs have been going?
Oh, it's just crazy. How the series went long in round 2. Like there were 2 game 7s yesterday, but the game 7s were terrible blowouts, and the teams that a lot of people thought were going to win just got crushed. So it's not necessarily the teams that everybody expected that got this far, but I think it's they're good matchups. and just the Suns especially just really disappointing. So.
Yeah, I agree. Arun, how are you doing tonight?
Good. My mouse was not working, but now I was able to fix my mouse and
Survived the great mouse debacle of 2022. So, well, I appreciate you and your dog for joining us as always for the great insight into the week that was for the NBA playoffs. So let's just get into it. Let's break down the different series. So let's do the 76ers and Heat series first. So when we last left it, it was. Hold on, I gotta get to where we were. So there we go. So there was a game two, which the Heat won 119 to 103 on Wednesday. That was the day after we had broadcast last week, and then the 76ers came back and won 99 to 76 in the first game in Philly on Friday, and then the Sixers won 116 to 108 to tie the series at 2 on Sunday. And then the Heat beat the Sixers 120 to 85, and then the last game, the Heat won 99 to 90 to take a 4-2 win in the series. I'll start off with Tim. What was your thoughts on this series?
Well, I just think you have to focus on the 76ers just falling short again. And they have a really good team. They have a lot of talent, but they can't put it together when it matters. Embiid has never reached the Eastern Finals, and he's runner-up MVP 2 years in a row. And he was really honest after the game that James Harden was not the same player. And just the fact that James Harden had another terrible closeout game when he got eliminated just shows that he kind of chokes when it matters. And he, I don't think he made a single shot in the second half of Game 6. So just the 76ers are really disappointing. When they got eliminated at home, their fans were booing them a little bit. And Miami just played great defense this whole series, and Jimmy Butler was great. They're very deep. They have a lot of players that are just undrafted, but they play really well. So most people don't expect Miami to win the Eastern Finals, but I think they have a chance, and they played pretty well at the end of the series.
And Arun, what are some of your thoughts on this series, and particularly this game?
Yeah, I'm not really shocked that Philadelphia is booing the team, given that they booed Santa Claus. But James Harden, maybe he's related to Santa Claus with the beard, but the last two games he had fewer points than he did in game 4, where he had 31 points. I think that was like the second time he had 30 points in the 76ers uniform. I don't know if it's choking, if you just can't get it done anymore. Like he's just not the elite player that they traded for. I think Miami probably struggled because I think Kyle Lowry, he was playing injured and both of those losses, and I think the Sixers also, I think Embiid, you can't disregard that he's playing with an injury, and Jimmy Butler playing with a little bit of a vengeance. He may be wrong. I don't think they chose Tobias Harris over him. They chose like just not to pay him, and it's looking pretty bad. It's a karma loss, I guess, for 76ers. They really should have. They definitely should have kept Jimmy Butler. He's actually only a couple weeks. There's only a couple weeks age difference between Harden and Butler, but Harden looks much older than Jimmy Butler. And Miami is a better team, and Miami. I don't know how to rate Miami going forward because they've just taken care of business against like the Hawks and the Sixers. I wouldn't rule them out either against the Celtics. I think it's going to be a really close series. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I was surprised at how quickly they wilted. I thought this was going to be a better game here, but it wasn't. So let's get into some of the other series, just for the sake of time. Let's talk about the other Eastern Conference. All right, so here we go. Which is the Celtics versus the Bucks series. Which was kind of interesting. I was surprised. Let me just see if I can pull up so we can get all the different games. So there was a game on Wednesday and a game on Friday, and then there was a game Saturday. So the Bucks won 110 to 107 in Game 5, and then 108 to 95 on May 13th on Friday, and then Celtics won 109 to 81 at home in a Game 7. I was surprised the Celtics went in and beat Milwaukee in Game 6. I really thought Milwaukee was going to finish that series off in 6, and it left the door open for the Celtics to come back. Tim, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on game? Well, you can talk about 5, 6, and 7, or whatever games you want to talk about specifically.
Yeah, this series was really interesting because it was close, and after game 1, a lot of people thought Milwaukee was going to run away with it, but both teams had momentum, like kind of back and forth. But game 5, the Celtics just kind of threw away this game, and they basically gave it to Milwaukee in the fourth quarter. And Giannis deserves a lot of credit for this comeback win in Boston. But after this game, you would think as a Celtics fan that they're probably going to lose in Game 6 in Milwaukee, but Tatum was great, especially in the fourth quarter, and scored like nearly 50, I think, and he saved their season, and just it was a pretty close game in Game 6, but Boston just pulled away, and then just Game 7 was a dud. I mean, Milwaukee played pretty well in the first half, but they played terrible in the second half. They couldn't make any threes in the game, and Boston just crushed them in the second half and made a ton of threes. And just a lot of role players were on fire for them. So disappointing season for Milwaukee, but I think they'll be back. And they missed Middleton, so he'll be back. But I don't know. Boston looks like they're on. They're kind of a team of destiny, so we'll see.
Interesting. Which game would you like to talk about, and what are your thoughts on the series?
I'll talk about Game 6. I guess Tatum, he had 30 points in the second half, and I think that pretty much sealed it. And I think Giannis was great, but he didn't have much help outside in the perimeter. Like Holiday was at 17, but Grayson Allen had 3 points. Wes Matthews had 4 points. Bobby Portis off the bench had 4 points. It wasn't going to get it done. And I think that they traded for Serge Ibaka. That was a mistake because he didn't even play this series. They gave up DiVincenzo and 2 second-round picks. I think they needed another perimeter player, maybe not DiVincenzo, but they just didn't have enough scoring, especially with Middleton out. I thought he was going to come back. There was rumors in Game 7 that he'd come back, and as Tim alluded to, the first half was close, and the second half was just a blowout. The Celtics do seem like the best team in the Eastern Conference right now, but this playoffs has been pretty unpredictable, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So looking ahead, game 1 is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday. If you're not listening live, it's at 8:30. Then game 2 will be on Thursday, and then game 3 will be on Saturday. Those are both at 8:30. And then I guess it's all of them. And then actually it'll be a live 8:30 game. Game 4 will be live during our podcast next week, so it'll be kind of fun to have a live look in on that matchup as well. Tim, what is your initial thoughts on the Celtics versus the Heat?
I think, like Arun said, it's probably going to be a close series and long. The Celtics probably should be favored because they've just played so well since the first half of the season when they were struggling. And they have a new coach. Took them a little while to figure it out, but they've been playing great. And Tatum and Brown and everybody, they just have a lot of scoring, a lot of three-point shooting. But I also can see the Heat pulling it out. I mean, I really don't know who to pick. I think I'm going to say Celtics in 7, but I could see the Heat winning because they have so much experience and clutch players too. So, but still, I'll just say Celtics in 7.
Yeah. Arun, what are your thoughts on this series?
Yeah, it's a repeat of the conference championship in the bubble year where the Heat, I think, pretty easily took care of the Celtics, but this Celtics team is significantly better, specifically on the defensive end. Will they get Robert Williams back? I think that's the key because Bam Adebayo feasted that last series. I don't think he's as good as he was 2 years ago, but I'm don't really know what's going to happen, so I'm just going to lean towards the Heat in 7 just because they have home court. But I think the Celtics, this is probably the key of the series is Game 1 because they have a short turnaround. If they win Game 1, then I'm probably going to flip. So that's how close I think this series is.
Got it. That makes sense. Let's talk about the Western Conference a little bit. Let's start off with the Grizzlies and the Warriors, the series that didn't go 7. But let's break it down here. So there was a game that was happening on Wednesday where the Grizzlies won 134 to 95. So that was the day after our last podcast. And then the Warriors won the last game, which was on Friday, 110 to 96. Tim, what are your thoughts on this series?
This series was really close. I know just going to 6. And obviously there were a few blowouts. Doesn't tell the full story, just because there was a huge injury to Morant. And early in the series, there were obviously some close games that could have gone either way. So I mean, the Grizzlies should be pretty optimistic about the future. You know, they were a high seed. Maybe they could have gotten to the third round, but they really did give the Warriors a lot in this series. I do think the Warriors could have closed out in 5 clearly because Morant didn't play, but just that game in Memphis when Memphis crushed them, I think Golden State just took it easy, and Memphis actually plays really well without Morant. You could even argue maybe a little bit better because I think their players just kind of watch him play. And they have a lot of good players around him, so they look good in that game. And then Game 6, it was just the Warriors were too much at home. Clay was clutch at the end. And Memphis played hard, but it's really hard to beat Golden State at home. And so I think Memphis will be in the playoffs again next year, but the Warriors are like probably the title favorites right now to me.
Interesting. Arun, what are your thoughts on this series?
Yeah, it's like I think Memphis. A lot of people ruled them out after John Morant was out for the series, but they actually played pretty tough. Even without Morant this season, the regular season they were 20-5. And Warriors were missing a couple former Wizards, actually, Gary Payton and Otto Porter. So I think the series got a little bit close. Even that final game was pretty close. And even though it's a 14-point win, the Grizzlies were up by 3 points with, like, I believe 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. But then Golden State played its like best offensive ball in the series. I think Tim may be right that there's something about this Grizzlies team without Morant. I think they're just more locked in defensively. I think Morant can get better, but right now at this stage of his career, he's not. He just makes a lot of mistakes. But they definitely missed his offensive power in the last game because 96 points. Especially in the final 6 minutes, Golden State's defense just locked down Memphis, and they'll definitely be back. But I didn't really think Memphis had a chance, given that even before the Morant's injury, because they were kind of showing their inexperience against the Timberwolves by getting behind by double digits. I think the Warriors were too poised to let that happen. And yeah, the Warriors, I don't know if they'll win the next series, but they definitely they're one of the teams to beat for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about the team that they're going to have to beat, which is the Mavericks, which is an interesting series for sure. I was kind of surprised how this one turned out. When we last left them off, it was on Tuesday. The Suns were beating the Mavericks. We're talking about that game, 110 to 80, and it just looked like the Suns were going to run away with the series. And the Mavericks turned around on Thursday and win 113 to 86, and then they're able to win yesterday, Sunday, if you're not listening to live, 123 to 90. It was sort of a really surprising blowout victory by the Mavericks. Tim, how did this series turn around so quickly?
I think just Dallas played well. Both teams played really well at home, and Dallas like fell behind in games 1 and 2, I think, and didn't really. I mean, they were sort of in it, but they just needed to get home to get comfortable in this series. And also, Luka is so clutch that even though it kind of felt like Phoenix would play really well and close it out in Game 7, he was just so much better than basically the entire Phoenix team. So it was kind of unexpected because a lot of people wrote the Mavs off after Game 2. But they're a really good team, and that huge trade for Dinwiddie really changed their team. And yeah, they're clicking at the right time. So I think they're definitely going to be a good opponent in the Western Finals.
For sure. I was just shocked because, I mean, when I was talking to Brian last week, we didn't really see it going this way. Which I don't think anybody really did. At least not having a Game 7 that was such a blowout. I thought it would be a little bit closer than that. Arun, what's some of your thoughts on the series?
Yeah, I think the turning point of the series was probably Jay Crowder. He got banged up in the series, and I think in Game 7 he was specifically really terrible in the first quarter. I don't know why he was taking so many shots, and Luka was on fire, and the first quarter was already ballooned to double digit, I think like 15-point deficit, and Dinwiddie came in, and in the first half, Luka had 27 points, Dinwiddie had 21 points, and the Suns combined as a team had 27 points. So the game was already kind of over at that point. Even Bertans has played. I think he's actually played better than Dinwiddie. So, but I think the Wizards, as far as the Wizards are concerned, I think Porzingis is still a pretty good player. It might be a win-win trade, but the Mavericks, if they're playing that great offensively, and I don't know what happened to Chris Paul and Devin Booker in Game 7. Chris Paul only scored his first field goal when they were down by already 40 points in the third quarter. Same with Devin Booker. I think he also scored. DeAndre Ayton, the number 1 pick. He was picked over Luka Doncic, which doesn't make sense at the time, and that definitely is gonna. This is another karma loss, because Luka Doncic probably remembers that Phoenix had the number 1 pick. They had his former head coach from his EuroLeague team, but they still didn't take him.
But who had him being this good? Like, it blows my mind. Like, I watched him play. He's a phenomenal player, but I never, in my wildest dreams, thought he would be one of the greatest players in the NBA.
Well, he was the EuroLeague MVP at the
end. He's like 18 years old or something.
But how many times has a Wizards team taken some really great Euro player and had them not show up? I mean, I don't know.
He's not Jan Vesely, that's for sure.
Yeah, but just like whenever we get the Euro top 5 draft pick, it doesn't seem to pan out. So I just, I don't know. It's
hey, Vesely was the number 6 pick. He's the number 5.
Okay, got it.
Dallas picks good Europeans. That's their
Dirk and Luka and even Kleber, like that guy. He's essentially the Porzingis replacement.
Now they have Bertans.
Yeah, Latvian laser. Yeah, another European.
Yeah, because Bertans definitely put up a ton of points in this game. Yeah, with the zeros.
Big
but-
zero. He did his job in Game 6. He had he's actually hit 45% of his threes in this series. They didn't need him in this game. But he was part of that 27-point defense. I couldn't believe Bertans was playing good defense. So that's they didn't need his scoring. Especially when he has many points as Chris Paul in the first half, so that's good for him, I guess.
Right. It's just interesting, but I mean, he's playing his role, obviously, right? So they're not losing out on the trade. The team definitely got better, in my opinion, since the trade. So
or Phoenix is just really bad. I don't know.
But it's still surprising. No one had Dallas beating them, or being this good when that trade happened. So, it's interesting nonetheless. Let's just talk about this upcoming series with the Warriors. We'll have the first 3 games to recap next week, and then we'll look ahead to game 4. So the first game is on Wednesday at 9. Game 2 is on Friday at 9, and game 3 is on Sunday at 9. Tim, what is your thoughts on this upcoming series between the Mavericks and the Warriors?
I think again, it's tough and it's going to be close. I think the difference between this and the Eastern Conference obviously is the experience. I mean, Luka's been in the playoffs a lot, but never this deep. He always shows up for Game 7s, at least so far in his career. So I think he'll play well, but I do have questions about the rest of the Mavs team against the Warriors season group when it matters. So I'd probably take the Warriors in their home court in 6 or 7. But I could totally see the Mavs winning again, just because they're clicking and they're really hard to guard because they have a lot of other guys that can score besides Brunson and Luka and Dinwiddie. So it's not just 3 guys, but the Warriors are just so experienced, and I think they have a better coach. Although Kidd has done a good job this year. So
yeah, it's a tough matchup. I mean, I honestly think the Mavericks have a really good shot at this because, I mean, no one thought that the Suns could beat them, and I feel like the Warriors are. I mean, they're not the same team as the Suns, but they're similar, and they were able to shut it down when it mattered the most. So, what were some of your thoughts on the series?
This is both a good matchup and a bad matchup at the same time for the Warriors. It's terrible because they don't have anyone that can guard Luka, especially with Gary Payton out. And Otto Porter is, I guess, going to be relied upon. Andre Iguodala's out. It's good in the sense that the Mavericks don't really have a big man, and that's kind of the Warriors' weakness. They have Draymond and Kevon Looney, and that's about it. And I think DeAndre Ayton would have feasted on the Warriors, but they don't really have to worry about Kleber and Powell that much, but I think this series is really a toss-up. I've seen a lot of people picking the Mavericks. I kind of am siding with Tim, I guess, that the experience of the Warriors is probably going to win out, but I think Luka is probably the best player in this series, so Curry hasn't played his best basketball yet, so he'll need to. He needs to make more than 6 threes a game, and he didn't do that so far this postseason, but he's more than capable of doing that. I don't think they really needed him to, but they definitely need an A+ performance from Curry. I don't really trust Clay, but I think Jordan Poole is probably better than Spencer Dinwiddie, and I don't really trust Jalen Brunson, even though I'm a Villanova alum, but I don't trust him defending Steph Curry and Jordan Poole on pick and roll. I think the Warriors' offense is much harder to stop, especially because they'll be shooting the ball and Chris Paul, and I don't know what they kind of just gave up, and I don't think the Warriors are going to do that.
Yeah, it's such an interesting series. I don't really know who to pick. My gut is feeling I do like the history of the Warriors, but I don't know. I just think this Dallas team might be a team of destiny, kind of like what the Celtics look like on the East. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. But I'm excited to have you guys on next week to recap the first three games and to talk about a fourth game for live. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully, both can join next week. But if not, I will definitely recap them. Maybe we'll get Brian back as well. We'll just have to see how he is with all the early mornings. But I really appreciate you both for coming on and talking a bit of basketball. Before I let you guys go, I did want to talk, since Brian isn't here, about the DC United. They were able to tie Inter Miami 2-2 in their game, so that's exciting. They play New York City FC, Brian's team, on Wednesday, May 18th, and New York City FC won their last game against the Columbus Crew, and I think DC United actually has two games this week. Yeah, they've also played on Saturday. So the first one was a 7:30 game at home against New York City FC, and then they continue their homestand on Saturday, just a couple days later. It's a 4 o'clock in the afternoon game. So again against Toronto FC. So two interesting matchups for DC United. It's now 4-1-5 on the season. So I just wanted to get that in there. Tim, I'll start with you. Any final thoughts or any topics you want to talk about before I let you go?
No, I'm just glad the Penguins lost, and it's sad that Brian's not here to celebrate that, but we can get his thoughts next week probably or soon. And yeah, just hopefully these NBA series are good because no more Caps, so gotta find joy somewhere.
Yeah, I've suddenly become a much bigger NBA fan. So it is what it is.
Pain, right?
Right. Well, that and I just don't have the Caps to watch, so that makes it a little bit easier. That I have more time to watch some more basketball. So, but I appreciate you guys for helping break down all those different series. And Tim, I'll talk to you hopefully next week.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Yeah. And then Arun, any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah, I guess Brian didn't get to talk about the New York Red Bulls beating DC United 3-0, but the Rangers. It's good that they beat the Penguins. The Caps. After that 3-0 lead, it was kind of. I just felt like it wasn't going to be their year after they blew that game, but I think they'll be back next year and hopefully.
I have a real quick question. Do you think that we should fire Sale, or do you think stay with it and move on?
I don't know. You're probably more caught. They definitely need some kind of change because I think they don't. I mean, Oshie, Backstrom, Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, but then I guess and Manta's pretty good, but they didn't really have anybody else step up and. The goaltending was kind of bad. We'll see how that helps next year. And it's just kind of sad because Ovechkin played great in the postseason, but it was just kind of wasted.
Yeah, I thought he played pretty well too. A lot of people were like, "Oh, he didn't score a lot of goals." I'm like, "Well, he had I think 6 assists or something." So he played pretty well, and they were double teaming and putting the best defense on him. So
the defense wasn't, and the goaltending wasn't there. Especially giving up.
I think it was the defense. The team defense wasn't there, but the other thing was I think Sammy played good, but he didn't put one of those Hulk Beast Game 6 Eastern Conference Finals where he just shuts everything and shuts the door. If he had done that, in Game 6, we would have won. So it's not necessarily his fault. The defense left not more to dry than Hopies did against Tampa Bay, but at the same time, I think we needed a shutdown performance from him in a closeout game, and it didn't come. So it is what it is. But Arun, any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah, just the final thought is you actually pronounce it Samsonov, or that's the only, because it kind of got on my nerve just the way they pronounce it, but I guess that's the way they pronounce his name, which is kind of annoying.
I've always done it Samsonov, but
yeah, that's what I think. But the announcer's Samsonov.
Yeah, there's a debate, but I don't know. We always call him Sammy, so it just makes it shorter.
Sammy's better than
yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Arun. I appreciate appreciate it, and we'll talk to you hopefully next week.
Sure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. All right, Carol. We got it all in. We got soccer. We got women's basketball. We got the NBA playoffs. We got the NHL playoffs. We got baseball and the Caps and final hockey thoughts. So it was a good run. Any final thoughts to you, Carol?
No, just like I say, another ending to the hockey season that we didn't want. Um, we got Nats baseball. Unfortunately, like I said, 13 games under 500. Missing starting out pretty good, 3-1. United, they doing okay. Off season for football. Like I said, we have a Commander special coming up soon, breaking down the schedule and free agency and the undrafted free agents and the draft picks to get ready for OTAs coming up soon. They already had the rookie mini camp, so the rookies already got the playbook and already delving into it. Gonna definitely have that covered. Make sure you check out the website, sportsothp.com, as always. Check out my YouTube channel, Carol Porter III with 3 eyes. Check us out. Live streaming as always, highlight videos. Try to get some baseball highlight videos out when the Nats win. So when they win, I'm gonna work on getting those out like I did for the Caps, like I do for the Commanders. Always try to keep the content going out there. Check us out this week. I'm thinking Thursday. Still having lockdown in time with Paul the Boxing Guy. We're going to have our boxing special Thursday, either 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock Eastern. Haven't decided yet, depending on what time I get off of work. And we'll be recapping the last few months of
And Carol, that's going to be on Twitch as well?
Yeah, still going to be on Twitch also. So you can tune in on my Twitch page, CP3.
I just shared the Twitch link on our Twitch channel here, so people can feel free to click over and check Carol out.
Yeah, so we'll be having our boxing specials, recapping the last few matches that we haven't talked about. We haven't had Paul on in a while, and look at some of the upcoming matches and some of the storylines going on in boxing with some of the potential fights. So tune in for that Thursday night. I'm thinking it's going to be around 9. So I'll say go ahead and say 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have Paul the Boxing Guy on, and as always, every Sunday night around 6 o'clock, we'll have At the Bar Radio. Yesterday we had a great guest, Melissa B. Neal, singer from the area that's doing big things. Unfortunately, my YouTube channel wasn't up working right, but you can go check out on At the Bar Radio page or Facebook.
Oh, Carol, I got some good news.
What's that?
Some Gil did some research for us. I appreciate Gil. So we're going to do a correction at the end of the show here before we left off. So it turns out because we didn't front load Backstrom's contract to get out of something, and have like a lot of the money at the end, and then he retires and we don't have to pay for it, right? So that's what the whole idea behind it is. So according to our good friend Bernie, it's not a front-loaded contract. So if he does retire, it should come completely off the books. So that's an interesting thing to think about. I do not want one of my top 2 favorite capitals of all time to retire, but maybe go in long term, give us some cap relief, and then think about it.
That's something I think he still got some hockey left in him. So I think he might take the year off, get the hip right, and come back. For Ovi's, that'll be the year Ovi was going for Wayne Gretzky's record. So I can see that happening.
Yeah, well, I thank Gil for letting me know about that before we were off air. But there is a penalty if you try to front load a contract. So I just, it's not like you can try to get away with just like forced retirement later on to save money, But that's not what this contract was. So it was a pretty even contract throughout, right? So anyway, but I really appreciate Carol breaking all of this down. I'm going to miss talking hockey. We'll definitely talk about the different round 2 games a little bit next week for sure, and continue to talk hockey and bring Anna back, I'm sure, at some point. But I'll miss it, like it's a big part of our every weekly thing. And I really thank so many people for tuning in on Facebook and chatting with us. And that was one of the most interactive Caps talks we've had in a long time. So I really appreciate everyone for tuning in and giving their 2 cents as well. And then if you're live on my Facebook after our podcast ends, we're going to be joining LG on this raid train as we're trying to raise money. So I really hope that people can stick around for a couple of moments. I'm also going to talk about a couple of things, how housekeeping on my YouTube channel and stuff like that as well. But Carol, why don't you give our send-off for our audio and our Facebook people, and then afterwards I will talk to my Twitch audience.
All right. Appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, watching, however you check us out. Appreciate it as always. Sports OTHP, year 7, season 7, year 6. Always get it mixed up. But as always, we love bringing you the show, bringing you the content. We're looking to branch out, make some things happen. I always got some things in the works. I'm reaching out, trying to make things happen. But me working at the dealership down at Waldorf Honda, 2450 Crane Highway. If you're in the market for a vehicle, come hit me up, inbox me, come on down, call in. 301-843-8700. Call and ask for Carol. Let me know what you're looking for. Give me the chance to earn your business. But as always, DC Sports about the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. CP3 and Robbie G for Sports OTHP, Blue Radio Network, and we out. See you next week.
Recording stopped.
Money. I love that money.
Lucas.
Money. You don't really want to play. Money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't want to be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about. Money, make you shut them mouth. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say, stay up out of my way. Cause money, make them shut them mouth. Keep playing with these goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. Cause a lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we done got it out the mud, nigga, what you talking about? Screaming, oh my God, money got me pride. They living a lie, look into my eyes, they might seem surprised. This is homicide. We just multiply. We been on the rise. If we got some wings, fuck it, we gon' have to fly. Money's what I'm talking about. Day in my life, take me a different route. And use all my case, niggas on my face. You can get it erased, what you talking about? Money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't want to be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about. You never crossing these borders. I'm whipping it up, Gordon Ramsay. I swear that I'm cooking these orders. You talk about me, you better just hope that you can just really afford it. I'm ballin', I'm winning, I'm feeling like Robert Horrid. Nigga, I'm scoring. I count in the morning. They talk about me, then I gotta ignore it. My bitches be foreign, so independent, my money be corporate. These raps is boring. You hate me and I'm always gonna adore it. I'm smoking that soaring. She always go ahead and let me explore it. I call her my Dora. You can go and talk about me, I ain't flawless. I go put my all in. If a nigga talk about me, then I'm gone in. You know that I'm gone in. Jump in, take trips, Pompeii. All day, always keep 3 stacks like Andre. I get it, man. And you can never, ever get rid of that. So watch what you say, and watch how you do. If you playing the game, then you play by the rules. Money's what I'm talking about. Won't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money is what I'm talking about. Won't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about it. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money is what I'm talking about.
Live from the lab. Many can copy us, but none can duplicate us. DJ Jules.
Yo, M20, where you at? Run that up, Rico.
Tell them I'm back now. I never back down. My team strapped down. Let it go back down. Down. Man down, that's on 911. Nigga, I never back down. No, I won't run, nigga. Chasing money to my pockets, big pun, nigga. Terrorists, why you fucking with the wrong ones, nigga? Don't back down. Jesus, send you to Jesus, right to the casket. My photo meanest, that's what they eat is. Get off my penis unless you a genius. Shit, I need this. Back down never. Who is better? Birds of a feather. Niggas all the same, they don't know better. Man, I've been a king since a nigga Chris Webber. Man down, let it go. Better stay on your toes. I've been flexing on these hoes. Man down, let it go. I've been grinding, I've been fighting. Got the lightning, once the cake, got the ice. The supersizing my meal. Appetizing, oh my god. Running back, I'm a titan, nigga. Ask Paul about the kid. A&T is killing this shit. Man, I gotta stay lit. Nigga, extinguish your shit. I got the fire. Make us sing like Mariah. They just birds on the wire. Dirt Nats, where's the choir singing? I never back down. My team strapped down. Let it go back down. Down. Man down, that's on 911. Nigga, I never back down. No, I won't run, nigga. Chasing money to my pockets, big pun, nigga. Terrorists, why you fucking with the wrong ones, nigga? Don't back down,
I've been dreaming about you all night. Desire in the pain, my body shifting all night. Listen to submissive, baby. Hey, submissive, baby. Yeah, yeah. Submissive, baby. perfect bitch is right in my view. Ay, is it real right now, girl? Are you really in my world? She gonna take that shit back if she say what she don't mean. She's my helping hand, she gon' try to further me and rub my back at night. She gon' always nurture me. She gon' give me my space, and I gon' think I deal with somebody else. She gon' stay in her place and let me take control like nobody else. She the true definition of a chick that ain't in competition with these other bitches. She gon' grant my wishes, never act malicious as she do the dishes. Yeah. I've been dreaming about you all night. Desire and the pain, my body shifting all night. Listen to some missing baby, some missing baby, some missing baby. Listen to some missing baby, some missing baby, some missing baby. I've been dreaming about you all night. Desire in the pain, my body shifting all night. Listen to some missing baby, some missing baby, some missing baby. Listen to some missing baby, some missing baby, some missing baby.
Crank it up, Pedro.
I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up this man. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital day. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up this man. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital day. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. But I dish it like I give it and go. Counting money while I chill at the stove. How I deliver, I've been at the dough. It's up to you how business will go. That 36 I get for the look. Count it up, no feelings will show. Spend so much, gotta get it some more. When they hands out, I just give them a no. How they always talk about me, but a nigga stand out. Watch out how you really walk up to me, that's a man down. All these niggas got these drums with them like a band now. I've been doing what I want, that's what you can't doubt. I've been just feeling myself. Do I just really need help? I got my weight up. I be just telling myself I got love for all of my dogs. I take a pay cut. Some niggas really gon' ride. Some niggas really gon' slide. So go say a prayer. We ain't never gotta slap five. Nigga, just pay your tithes and call me the mayor. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up this man. She all in her feelings. She giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on the move. That's a digital day. They been just losing. I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up this man. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital day. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past.
let's go, 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 let's go. Run, young.
That boy P, so crazy.
No. I was down, now I'm really about to go get up. 10 rounds, now that nigga can't get up. That's what you get when you go fuck with the vision. My money be piling, we don't do division. The feds be watching, I just gotta get up. I was just down, now I'ma get up. Sleeping on me, I bet that they get up. My money was low, but now I'ma get up. Oh, bet that we get up. Pushing this weight, I'm doing sit-ups. I was just dirty, now I got my fit up. Too good for these bitches, I bet they gon' miss us. And I pack a bag if you think that I'm trippin'. I keep this shit brisk like I'm sip Lipton. Even though niggas don't know what to get on. You ain't shit, so your niggas gon' get on. Get you some pack, go make a flip homes. Yeah, I'm stuck in my bad ways. Niggas always being burnt out, so I dip them all in the ashtray. I don't understand these niggas that just always talking about, yeah, they past ways. I don't understand these bitches always comparing me to they past days. I give a fuck about you, you give a fuck about me. I just be rapping for money, you be rapping for free. Feel like that I rap like a god, the reason they call me a G. I'm against all of these odds. Niggas ain't fucking with me. Never no worries, Hakuna Matata. They say that I'm hot cause the devil with Prada. I'm Soulja Boy first and these niggas gon' follow. Catching no feelings, you catching these hollows. Ride with Rodriguez like I fuck with Rollo. Ain't got no time when I see this Movado. Bet that bitch shine like I'm in Monte Carlo. Looking at me like I done hit the lotto. Counting your last days, get hit up. Talking that trash, hey, on Twitter. Your bitch, she be bad, yeah, I'm with her. When she see me, her face be lit up. Boy, better go ahead and mind your business. I don't go back and forth like tenor. Run this game, I don't get no finna. But we bout to get up. 10 rounds, now that nigga can't get up. That's what you get when you go fuck with the vision. My money be piling, we don't do division. The feds be watching, I just gotta get up. I was just down, now I'ma get up. Sleeping on me, I bet that they get up. My money was low, but now I'ma get up. Oh.
I'm getting paid. I gotta get some pay.
No! Our other father, Hal Jackson.
Oh, let Jimmy take the motherfucking rattle.
Yo, back up. Fuck my tail from you, rattle. I might devour you. Head first, tail last.
Vision. Y'all get some money out of the deal. Give us some money
mission
too.
equals progress.
Ain't no
get up off your ass and do something.
There it is.
Welcome to the boogie down. Do something about it.
That's real. Fake it, fake.
Late this evening, crime scene tape still marks the scene on Castle Street as Syracuse police look for evidence. This is where two young people were found shot today. One of the victims, just 15 years old.
Kelly, thanks. Back with breaking news on Syracuse's south side right now. CBS 5's Noah Scheidel with the live eye near the crime scene on Midland Ave.
Man, we in this shit together cause we more. Hey. Everybody with us better do their job. Yeah. We ain't trying to go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law till we equal while we fall. Yeah. Man, we in this shit together cause we more. Yeah. Everybody with us better do their job. Hey. We ain't trying to go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law, now we legal, we the more. Yeah. We been humble for too long, what it seem like. In the jungle for too long in a dream life. But the dream we was living didn't seem right. People getting killed when they stopped at a street light. Serving yams every day, Thanksgiving. We know it's wrong, we was trying to make a living. We didn't ask for these cars they was giving. The jobs non-existent, so wrong we was pitching. You getting money, then they might rob you. You looking funny, then Ray might pop you. All my niggas do it living like I do. Snitching is a sin, plus cops might nod you. They don't want us in this business cause we real. We tryna get a world something they can feel. We don't start problems, we just tryna build. When we pop, everybody screaming, y'all gotta chill. First you get the vision, then you get ambition. Get up off your ass, nigga, get up on your mission. Is y'all niggas listening? It's simple with addition. Then progress, nigga, fat mob in position. Man, we in this shit together cause we mob. Everybody with us better do their job. We ain't tryna go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law till we equal while we fall. Man, we in this shit together cause we mob. Everybody with us better do their job. We ain't tryna go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law, now we legal, we the mob. Drug dealer pulling up in foreign cars. Coming home third bid, more scars. In a place where poverty is more ours. The kids see the stars, but the sky too far. That's teenagers, OGs wouldn't serve us. Stay in school, little nigga, get your verbs up. But the chicks wanted niggas